For years, I thought being the sweet old nice girl would get me the friends, the partner I wanted, and the life I always dreamed of. But after years of experiencing bad friendships, toxic relationships, and not achieving the goals I wanted, I realized that it was time for a change. I experienced something really crazy last year. If you know me, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm not gonna get into details because if I told you guys, you would not look at me the same. But in that experience, I realized that I needed to stop giving a fuck about being nice and to just be a bitch. Before, I was getting walked all over, I wasn't being listened to, and I was being betrayed. But when I snapped and became a bitch because I was fed the fuck up, I got every single thing that I ever wanted. From that point on, I realized that my problem all along was not all these outside sources, it was me. My problem was that I was a passive, people-pleasing girl, and that if I wanted to take control of my life, I needed to become a bitch, and I needed to become a bitch now. And I know there is a connotation behind being a bitch. You know, we think bitches are mean, bitches are bullies, but there is a difference between a good bitch and a bad bitch. And when I say bad bitch, I don't mean sexy, cool, bad bitch. That's a different bad bitch, okay? That's a different bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can be a bad bitch, but not a bad bitch. Are you catching my drift? A bad bitch in the negative connotation is someone that's a hater, that feeds off of other people's problems, and typically have zero self-control. But we want to be a good bitch. A lot of the times, people that were people pleasers, they go through a similar experience as I did, and they snap, and then they go down the wrong path of turning into a bad bitch. They become insecure, and they project. So here's an example of a bad bitch. Why would she wear that? Doesn't she know that she looks tacky? I would never be caught dead in an outfit like that. Oh my God, did you hear that so-and-so and so-and-so broke up? I always knew that they wouldn't make it. Isn't this like your 5th time trying to lose weight in the gym? Oof. Okay, yeah, you should try something different this time. So that hopefully was triggering. That is an example of a bad bitch, okay? Not a good bad bitch, a bad bitch. I'm trying to make sure that you guys understand what I'm saying. And now here's an example of a good bitch. Yeah, I heard that she was talking about me, but honestly, I'm not gonna feed into it. She just seems insecure, so that is something I'm not gonna entertain. No, unfortunately, I'm not available tomorrow, but I do hope that you find someone to help you with that. Yeah, they cheated on me, but honestly, I don't care. That shows that they are actually a shitty person and don't deserve me anyways. So yeah, I'm moving on, and I personally don't care who they're dating after me. Can you guys tell the difference? Can you guys see the difference in the energy? One person comes from a place of lack, insecurity, and the other comes from a place of confidence and assertiveness. So I'm gonna give you guys 8 tips on how to be a good bitch. Tip number 1 is going to be saying no more. This is something that once I implemented, I immediately started feeling 1,000 times more powerful. Like just saying no, just flat out no. Like if someone offers a drink to you, do you want some? No, thank you. Just that. Oh, can you help me with something tomorrow? No, I'm busy tomorrow. Understanding that I don't want something or I don't want to do something and standing firm on that. For the longest, I would be like, no, I don't want to, but maybe they really need me, so I'll just do it. Or I want to say no, but I want to seem nice, so I'm gonna just say yes. You know, I'm just gonna try it. Even though I know I hate sushi, I'm just gonna try it. You know, stop that. If you don't want to, then don't. I used to see people that do that. And for the longest, I personally used to think that they were bitches or that they were rude. But I see now, it's just like, if you don't want to do something, then why say yes to it? And I think that's kind of just setting boundaries with others and yourself. Letting people know that you don't want to do something and you're firm on that. You know, if you're kind of like a yes man or a yes woman all the time, no one really knows what boundaries not to cross with you. If you learn how to say no when you mean no and say yes when you mean yes, people will know, okay, I'm not gonna ask her for that because I already know she's gonna say no. I feel like that is so powerful. The idea of people thinking of me that way, I feel so powerful, knowing that someone's not gonna ask me for something because they already know I'm gonna say no because I set that boundary with them previously. I feel like for the longest, when I was in my people-pleasing era, people would constantly ask me for stuff that I wasn't comfortable giving. And I would just be like, why do they feel comfortable asking for this? Like, what's wrong with them? The whole time, time, something was wrong with me. I never was setting boundaries with people. Now, I love the word boundaries. If you're dealing with me, you're gonna hear boundaries quite often, okay? And try setting them up front, especially in a relationship. When you're first meeting someone, don't be afraid to let them know certain things you aren't comfortable or are comfortable with. And not in like an aggressive, like, if you're gonna be friends with me, then you need to know, blah, blah, blah. Or if you're gonna be in a relationship, like, no. If a conversation is brought up and there's an opposing opinion, say that opposing opinion unapologetically. Tip number 2 is going to be, don't over-explain yourself. So this kind of ties into saying no. If you say no, don't be like, no,
I'm sorry, I had a plan tomorrow, but actually, no, I can't make it, but, you know, I'm really sorry, you know, I'll make it up to you next time, and, you know, I know that you blah, 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 like.
Just for it to be like a, okay, thanks for letting me know. You know what I'm saying? Don't over-explain your feelings or your intentions. When you over-explain yourself, it really sounds like, please, please, please believe me. Please, please. I'm telling the truth. Please believe me. Why don't you understand me? Do you understand what I mean when I'm saying this? Like, please don't be upset at me for saying no. Please understand where I'm coming from. That sounds so desperate. And I know that because I used to be that desperate. Over-explaining myself. Sending paragraphs trying to explain why my actions aren't coming from a place of being mean, but I'm trying to be nice and I hope that you can understand, and I'm doing this because I feel this way and I'm hoping that you'll feel like, bitch, don't ever do that again in your life. Do not over-explain yourself like that, especially if it's in a situation where it's not deserving. If someone cannot match you with that energy where you're explaining yourself, they're explaining themselves in an equal manner, dead it. When a question is asked, answer the question, leave it at that. Don't add in any filler extra points like answer the question and stop playing with me, answer the question.
Just answer the question, okay? Please don't play with me right now.
I had to learn that recently and it feels a lot better. Like, I'm saving my energy by not over-explaining myself. And that also ties into tip number 3, which is speaking up for yourself clearly. So when you feel uncomfortable with something, when you are setting those boundaries, you say it clearly. And you know what you're uncomfortable with. You know what you want to say yes to. You know what you don't want to say yes to. So know that. Be firm in what your own feelings are so that when it's time to speak up for it, you can say it clearly. This is a strength that I have gained and I'm like really proud of because I try to use my anxiety as a superpower. I try to think ahead of what certain conversations are going to be like. Isn't it the worst when you're in an argument with someone and hours go by out of the argument and then you finally think of a good comeback and you're like, fuck, I wish I could have said that. My anxiety makes sure that I don't ever experience that, and I'm usually 99.9% correct. So I know what I'm gonna say, I'm sure what they're gonna say, and I say my part clearly. I don't deviate and try to over-explain. I say exactly how I feel and I mean it. You know, say it with your chest. I know before I used to not make eye contact when I had to say no or explain that something hurt my feelings. No. Like, look, what you did made me uncomfortable, so I'm walking away. If you want to deal with me, you will never do that again. Point blank, period. Okay? That's how you do it. Speak up clearly, okay? Don't just speak up, but clearly. Say it with your chest, okay? You have to, or no one's gonna take you seriously. Eye contact, chest up, posture straight, voice deep and loud, project. I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun with this. And the thing is too, with being a bitch, I was talking to someone, right? You know, dealing with people. I had a moment where I was just like, dang, like, is being a bitch like bad? You know, I'm dealing with this person and I realized, I'm like, fuck, they probably think I'm a bitch. They literally told me it was okay. They're like, it's okay. I thought that was so hot, honestly. Like, setting boundaries with someone that you're romantically involved with and then them saying that it's okay, that's fucking hot. Okay, anyways. The next tip is being selfish and claiming it. For the longest, I used to try to avoid being called selfish so much. I remember I was called selfish when I was in middle school and that flipped my life around. I was devoted to never being called selfish again. I don't know why, but in that moment I should have been like, yeah, I'm selfish. If this is mine and I want it to be mine, I don't have to share. I'm not obligated to create any space. If something is precious to me, I'm gonna keep it that way. I was young and naive and I thought that selfish was a bad thing, and it can be, you know, good bitch, bad bitch. Be selfish with things that matter to you and claim that. Don't avoid the word selfish. Don't be scared of the term being selfish. Be selfish, be self-obsessed, be self. Be who you are for your pride. Tip number 5 is going to be adopting the let them theory. My therapist actually just put me onto this and life changed. Literally, I love therapy. My therapist, trying to explain to me like, why do I let other people's energy drain me so much? And I'm an empath, so I subconsciously take on issues that aren't my own, or I try to not let people hurt me. I'm giving too much of my own energy away. So he told me to adopt the let them theory, where if someone's gonna do something that you aren't necessarily okay with, just let them. If you think that your job is gonna fire you, cutting hours, let them. If you think your partner is interested in this other person and you don't want them to be involved with them, you don't want them to follow them, you don't want them to do this, you don't want them to do that, let them. By letting people be who they are, you will simply see who they truly are. You will let them show their true colors. I feel like that comes from a place of insecurity, of you don't believe that once your job does fire you, you'll be able to handle finding another job, or you believe that you won't be able to handle if your partner cheats on you. You don't think you'll be able to move on, or you won't be capable of breaking up with them. Now that's some tea right there. That's some tea. That's some tea. That's piping tea. But you have to let people do what the f they're gonna do. You cannot control people so that they can be better versions of themselves. You have to let people be themselves. If they are deceitful, if they are unfaithful, if they are just a bad person, you have to let them be that so that you can see that. Take off the rose-colored glasses and move accordingly once you know that. Number 6 is going to be putting your energy into yourself and your own happiness. When you're getting hate or just experiencing certain things that are bringing your energy down. I know for me, I've had family members say things where they didn't think I could actually handle being a content creator, having millions of eyes on me. Do you think you could actually handle going viral? You want to move to New York City? I'll believe it when I see it type thing. And instead of letting those things get me down, giving those words power, instead just focus on myself and my own happiness. When you hear stuff like that, that kind of leaves a little crack in your heart, don't make the crack bigger by dwelling on it and trying to unpack what they meant by that. Immediately heal that. Immediately heal it. Immediately be like, wow, that hurt me a little bit. So now I'm going to go get me some ice cream and treat myself and talk nice to myself. And I'm gonna tell myself that I am capable of that. Immediately counter those words with positivity, positive affirmation, self-love, self-care. When you have a rough day and you feel like the world is just kind of beating on you, go home and take care of yourself. We are human. We're gonna get hurt. So the only way to deal with those feelings is by showing yourself love and just focusing on healing. That's the best way to avoid being a bad bitch, because bad bitches are unhealed and they project and they're insecure. And you don't want to be any of those things. You don't want to have any of those qualities. Tip number 7 is going to be understanding that you can have anything that you want and that you completely deserve it. If you want to move to California and live in a high-rise apartment, you deserve that. You can have that. I'm on a hunt. I need that. I want that.
Yeah.
I have that. I gotta have that. Like literally, you gotta have that energy. Like I want it, I got it type mindset. You have to believe that what you want is yours and you deserve it, and that with hard work, dedication, and being smart, you can surely have everything in the world that you want. You can have the dream home. You can have the loving partner. You can have the banging body. You can have the healthy mindset. You can have the amazing, loyal friends. You can have all those things. You just have to deep down believe that you deserve them. And the final tip is going to be letting go of your past. For me, when it came to trying to turn over a new leaf and being a bitch and being self-obsessed, self-centered, all those things, I had to let go of all my past situations where I was a people pleaser. All those moments when I look back and I'm like, well, how could I let that person talk to me that way? How could I let that situation play out like that? Ooh, like I'm starting to think about it and I'm getting worked up. You have to let that go. You have to understand that if you are going to now be a bitch, you have to understand that that is the old version of you, and you don't have to claim that. That was me, and maybe I was naive, but I'm different now. I'm better now, and I will never, ever, ever be that girl again. You will never get the chance to talk to me that way. You will never get the chance to treat me like that ever again. I am different, I'm healed, and I love myself enough to know that I don't deserve to be put in any sort of position like that ever again. again. You have to let go of those past versions of you. You don't have to claim them. As each day goes on, we think that we have to be the same version of ourselves as we were yesterday. You know, we did that yesterday, so yeah, I'm gonna do that today. It's more of like a subconscious thing. It's normally not something that you're actively thinking about, but each day you can be better. Each day you can grow to be a different version of yourself. You do not have to uphold the same habits that you did yesterday, last week, the month before, or last year. Once you realize that you are maybe not connected to that same version of yourself, you can then let that go. And it's really freeing. I mean, I was a people pleaser for most of my life. Just last year did I turn over a new leaf and become this new version of myself. This is new for me, but just because it's new does not mean that I have to still hold on to being a people pleaser. I don't claim that anymore. I used to be a people pleaser, but I am not no more. I am a proud bitch. And my favorite examples of bitches, Megan Fox and Jennifer's Body. Catherine, I feel like she's on the line of being a bad bitch and a good bitch. I feel like Rihanna, she's another example of like a good bitch. I feel like Rihanna speaks her mind. I feel like you never see her waver in what she has to say. Like, it's kind of crazy. Chaperone, certain moments I'm still getting to know Chaperone, but I feel like she's an example of a good bitch. I feel like she's kind of firm on what she's comfortable with, what she's not comfortable with, and she speaks up clearly. I was like, when I saw her like pointing the finger at that one guy on the carpet, but like, yeah, go off. That's exactly how you should be if you are comfortable with something. Here's the clip if you haven't seen it. But I hope you guys enjoyed these tips and understand that, look, you don't have to be that same version of yourself. You can be a new version right here, right now. I hope that these tips help you. This is day 5 of my 7 days of avaly series. We have 2 more videos to go. I'm so freaking excited. I hope that you guys have been enjoying this series so far. I haven't even started posting yet, but I'm just gonna assume that I have new faces, I have new subscribers. A few of my videos have done good, and we're just building this community up more. So I'm just so excited to have these videos out for you guys. I'm just so excited for what 2025 has in store for me. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video, same time tomorrow. Bye.